Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome again back to the Earth, our Mudfossil Gaia. So I have another Native American mudfossil legend to share with you guys, and I do have a few more theories on the legend people and how that relates to the Hindu gods. And I have done quite a bit of research lately into the origins of them themselves, and I think I have some more really exciting information to share with you guys on those theories. But first, I want to get through these Native American legends because they are so descriptive and give all the geological locations of where these stories happened. And it is so much fun to hear the story and then go to the Google Earth and look at it from above and be like, oh wow, yeah, that sure is a bear and a water monster, you know? So I'm going to share a few more of these with you guys real quick. And then I'm going to get into more of the reasons why we see these allegorical figures in this densified form. I have a lot of really exciting theories on that to share with you. So today I would like to introduce you guys to Unhcegila. Now, her male counterpart is Unhcegila, and they are basically the horned serpent or the underwater panther. And this story is very descriptive as to what happened. So let me read the story to you guys, and then I'm going to take you into Google Earth and show you what I see. She was described at first as having no real shape or form. She had eyes of fire and a fanged mouth that was shrouded in a smoky or cloudy mass. As time went on further, her form was exposed as being massive, with a long, scaly body whose natural armor was almost impenetrable. Her eyes burned with wrathful hunger, her claws were like iron, and her voice raged like thunder rolling in the clouds. Whoever looked upon her will become blind or go insane. Her weakness is a seventh spot on her torso, behind of which her heart lies within, which burned fierily. To kill her, one has to shoot a medicine arrow at it. In ancient Lakota tribes of the Northwest had heard rumors from neighboring tribes that a giant evil spirit had emerged from the icy waters of the far northeast Atlantic. In the time, the creature and its companion had fought its way across the eastern coast into the Midwest, with many different tribes finding ways to scare off the monsters until they made their way to the Black Hills, Hesapa, and sought a new home in the mountains. Once she and her companion arrived and had made a place in the mountains, she coexisted with everyone from the tribes to the Wamakan and the other spirit beings. During this time, her and her companion being to prepare to spawn offspring, many different tribal clans and Nagi that lived in the Black Hills learned of the monsters' plans and began making plans to prevent any more monsters from becoming a threat. Unhcegila and Unhcegila coexisted with nature because they were the only two that were sustained by nature. But if there were more monsters that needed to kill for survival, it meant that more animals and people would die to feed them. This forced everyone to act before she became the cause of chaos and fear. Over many years in which she wreaked havoc on the hills, she was challenged by many warriors from the Lakota tribe. It was learned that the creature had offspring, and the tribes had to kill them when they began feeding on people. In one myth, Unhcegila fights with and kills a giant bear whose fallen body produced the bear Butte in the Black Hills. That was the very first video that I posted on my YouTube channel, if you guys want to go watch that one. She was slain after she ate the family of a great warrior from the Bear Clan. This warrior was told by a weasel spirit that if he was to get swallowed by Unhcegila, he could use his knife to cut his way out of the belly of the beast and free the other victims. Alternatively, two twin brothers, one of whom was blind, killed Unhcegila using arrows given to them by a medicine woman. Some accounts state that the brothers' arrows did not kill Unhcegila, but only injured her so greatly that she damaged the land as she withered away. As she finally died, the sun scorched her flesh and dried up the land, resulting in the arid rock formations and skeletons found in the Badlands. Mudfossil. In another myth, Unhcegila emerged from the primordial waters to flood the land. The resulting devastation angered Wakinyan, who flapped his wings to create a great storm to dry up the land and shoot lightning, killing Unhcegila. Her heart was destroyed, but her bones were scattered across the land. Wakinyan is the thunderbird, and as I've mentioned in other videos, the thunderbirds and the horned serpents or underwater panthers were basically rivals. So yeah, let me take you to Google Earth and show you what I see. Wakonda Lake. This lake is one of 3 sacred lakes. On the tail of Unhcegila. Her bones span across Nebraska and the Dakotas, they say. So this lake here, it's a man-made reservoir, and Kurimeo did a video on the native people and what this place used to mean to them. I will leave a link for it, but I will show you real quick here. When they filled in the reservoir, they buried a sacred, natural, flowing artesian well they called Wakonda Spring. And this was a very sacred healing place that the people would go to heal in the water. I thought it was really cool that it just happens to be right on the tail of this giant, I guess, sea monster. So I drew her with scales because, as you can see here where I outlined the water monster, there's all this really ripply, like, just hills and valleys that ripple all across the land. And it's so beautiful. So everywhere you see those ripples, that's part of her, right? And I think her eye is about right here. And you notice how the ripples kind of stop right there too, you know? Yeah, she's got this really big, beautiful, flowing, like, mane. And in the story, there's another story I'll leave a link for also that is a little more descriptive, really detailed actually, and it talks about how they cut off the horn of her and they also cut out her heart. They took her heart back to the village and it gave them magical powers until one day they decided it was better to not have the magical powers and they let it go. Yeah, every tribe has their own stories of this creature. There she is, she's right there. These scales are so beautiful. They say that the ground ripples here because there was an ancient seabed, and they do find a lot of fossils, but supposedly she dried up the sea, so she's part of that story. One of the other legends says it was the Thunderbird, Wakinyan, who flapped his wings and dried up the lake bed. And there just happens to be a giant Thunderbird here. So he could also be part of this story. He is quite lovely. And at first, I did think that was like the Rocky Mountain dragon. In my video about the Native American dragons, the ancient ones. But when you look, it's right here is this big, like really ripply effect, and it's the only thing around it in this area like that. The topography everywhere else is completely different. It's like something completely of its own. And this really looks like a big bird beak. And an eye. And these even look like feet with claws on them. And he's got these two big long tail feathers here. So beautiful. So yeah, I think this is a big bird that, I don't know, it could have been, Garuda and Nagas, or the horned serpents and thunderbirds. It seems like there were a lot of stories of them. Since the bear was part of the story, I wanted to revisit this site and show you guys a couple things here. Now, there's another story with the bear where he's actually a twin, and he died waiting for his twin brother bear. And then there's the other story I told you where he lost his life in a fight with a water monster. Now, what's really weird, there's not just one water monster here. We have one right here. And with that face, I don't think I even need to give you guys an outline. That thing is cool looking, right? And over here, we have another one. And they have a little bit different shaped heads. And so it makes me wonder, the part of the story that talks about Unhcegila having a male counterpart, Unhcegila, maybe that's how that got into the story. Maybe this was a couple of the water monsters, one being a male and one being a female. Or, you know, that could be how the twin counterpart got into the story. Maybe these were twin water monsters. But I think what these are the children of Unhcegila. I think that, or Unhcegila and Unhcegila, they had a lot of children. Apparently there are many stories of these water monsters. And they're usually, you know, a story of a water monster fighting a bird. Yeah, look, it's really cool right here. I was just noticing how the trail goes right up through the mouth. That's one of the sacred pilgrimages that the native peoples make there to the top of Bear Butte. Right up through the mouth. Isn't that cool?